It's been 90 days since we did our last market update. What are you guys seeing? What's happening?
Low inventory still kind of seems to be the main theme. I guess with the rising interest rates and sellers not being super motivated to sell unless they really have to, whether that's for upsizing, downsizing, or divorces or other life reasons. Other than that, if you don't have to sell, you're not selling.
Yeah, I would say, obviously, you're right. With the exception of there's still that mid-range product that I think is still doing really well. That's the I'm not going to say flips because it's not flips. It's like houses that are nice and prepared really, really well. Multiple offers still happening.
Yeah, well, it goes hand in hand with the low inventory because, as we know, there's still a ton of buyers out there. So when something that's in a nice neighborhood that's turnkey becomes available, we're still seeing it do quite well.
I'm finding that when I have conversations with people who are thinking about buying, a lot of them are waiting. And so I feel like there's a lot of people who are a little bit on the sidelines who could afford to buy a home, and they just want to wait to see how the market is going to continue to develop in the next few months. And I feel like yes, price may go down a bit more, but if you're only waiting and waiting, you're probably going to miss that bottom of the market, because there's so many people who are in the same kind of situation. And then once kind of everybody realizes that prices are recovering, then everybody's going to try to jump in at the same time. I wonder, is that what's going to happen? And then a lot of people may miss the opportunity to
I don't wonder if it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen because it's happened every time there's a downturn in the Toronto market, even the smaller ones that we've experienced for the last 10 years. When it does go the other way, it's not a subtle turn. It's quite abrupt. I think it's a bit of a sucker's game, this bottom of the market. It's a bit of a myth. Obviously it exists, but how many people actually take advantage of it? How many people time it perfectly? Advice?
My advice would be to first think about your own needs, and if you're in a situation that you can buy a home, and start thinking about it and just get ready and start looking, because to find something that meets your requirements takes a little bit of time. It might take a month or two. And so when you think that is the right time, then you have to start getting ready with your financing, and then you got to start funding something. There's always a little bit of an adjustment of expectations between what you think you can get and what you actually can get, and then you have to rethink what's the most important things you need. So it just takes a little bit of time to get to the point that you're ready to actually put an offer. And by that time, prices may start rising already. And it's all about your own personal situation more than trying to find the best time in the market, the lowest prices that you can possibly get, right?
If prices start going up, and we've realized the bottom of the market, prices start going up, that means there's more buyers wanting to buy fewer things that are on the market. Houses, however, are not like a carton of milk. If you're going to buy a carton of milk, this milk is the same as this milk is the same as that milk. And so you go and you buy a carton of milk. But houses are not cartons of milk. Each one of them are unique. And what a perfect house is for you isn't necessarily going to be the perfect house for me. So who's to say that when I go and buy, when the market is at the bottom or going up, that what I want is even going to be available? And I think that's something that gets missed a lot, is I'm waiting for the bottom of the market. Okay, who's to say what you want is going to be available then? Yeah. And that's something that you need to factor in if you're a buyer in this market, is what you want even available. And that's why staying alert. Is that the right word?
And being prepared, and don't forget that, especially for investors, it's one thing, but if you're an end user looking for a home, like you're saying, get the home that you want. If it's available, be prepared. Make intelligent decisions as far as offers go and stuff like that. But as we've seen before in the Toronto market, once it starts going,
And you get caught, you get caught on the wrong side of this thing, and you could go a while without finding what you want. You raised a point, investors. And what do we do with those? You got an investor that's interested in coming into the market right now. Are they active?
having a lot of conversations with different investors. Some of them are maybe trying to time the market a little too much, which I don't know if that's possible to.
Like, rather than try to time the market, why not force the market? Make the market what you want it to be. Put in a lower offer. How much do you want to pay? What makes this cash flow positive for you? Let's start there and remove emotion or guesswork out of it. Apply the numbers, make an offer.
Yep.
I mean, if you're an investor, you're cold, calculated. Right?
Well, yeah, we've seen houses that have been on the market for a long time. Yeah,
Start making some offers.
put something down.
Put it out there.
Yeah.
So I've seen, because I watch this stuff pretty carefully, as you guys do, I'm sure too. Like, what's the biggest number you've seen below asking?
Hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, I see 150 as like
Well,
commonplace.
that's true, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I've also seen
160.
very large price reductions. Mm-hmm. You see 100,
Totally.
200,000. I've seen a $500,000 price reduction, mind you, on a bigger, like a $7+ million property.
Mm-hmm.
But I've seen $500,000 price reductions. So they're telegraphing to everybody out there, like, hey, this is for sale,
Yeah,
and they are sellers. So make an offer.
yeah.
If it's on the market, it doesn't cost anything to make an offer. That's my advice personally. If I was to come across an investor that's thinking that the bottom of the market is somewhere down the road, okay, let's estimate where that is and make an offer based on that.
Yep.
Rental market.
Multiple offers for units and units that are not really that desirable or nice are still going for above asking for a much higher price than you would expect. And a lot of people need to get in somewhere and they're not really able to buy something. So
Yeah, it's a supply and demand thing. I think
Yeah.
with the rising interest rates and stuff too, some people kind of are not able to purchase anymore, so that puts them back into the rental market. And then of course immigration and everything else. It's a supply and demand thing. So.
I think we got a lot of people coming back to the city too. I know that Toronto Life magazine put out an article about the return to Toronto. I remember like 2 years ago they did an article on the exodus from Toronto. Right?
Yeah, employers want their
Yeah.
staff back.
People are coming back.
People are maybe getting a little bored out in the rural areas and maybe want to go out for dinner once in a while.
not finding as many.
Some nice restaurants in Bowmanville.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
All right. I guess like the other thing too that's worth a conversation, because there's been a lot in the news about new builds being delayed, postponed, canceled. A lot of what we're seeing in the marketplace right now is that a lot of those developments are still moving forward, but they're being bought up by larger developers, and people with deeper pockets and cheaper construction costs are able to still continue forward with these. In terms of assignments, an assignment is somebody that bought something pre-construction and they want to sell that agreement prior to completion to somebody else. So they're selling the contract. I'm seeing a lot of these in the marketplace. You typically, when somebody's going to sell this agreement, they're going to want to profit from it. And we've seen some people make a lot of money off of these in the past. But I'm seeing them come out and in numbers, like crazy numbers. Are they getting filled? Are people buying them?
lots of condos are available. I feel like it's kind of the opposite of the freehold market. From what I've been seeing, there's lots of inventory
Yeah.
in the condo market.
Yeah, there's no shortage of it, and I would think, anybody that's looking right now for a condo specifically, man, never a better time. The one thing that I see that's really pressuring that particular market are the maintenance fees. Maintenance fees have gone up quite a lot in the last few years, and it's becoming noticeable. Like we're seeing, 800 square foot condos with $900 maintenance fees. And that's every month.
And then you add that on top of the mortgage payments now with these higher interest rates.
And then, so people are wondering like, why are rents going crazy here? Well, because there's a demand for them, and it's not an inexpensive endeavor to have one of these. A lot of these things they're costing $3,000, $4,000 a month to carry. So, cause and effect.